Hi, and today we are going to be planting in the garden. We were supposed to be planting the peas today, but I forgot to soak them. Do not forget to soak your peas. It's super important because getting them that wet in the ground is really difficult. So you want to make sure that you have them pre-soaked, which I did not do. So I will be back out here tomorrow morning doing the peas. But we still need to get some carrots in, green beans, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and get those planted after I clean up the hot mess from last year that I didn't get cleaned yet. And I'm probably going to put down some weed fabric. I have not quite decided yet because there are also I'm going to plant poppies and other flowers here as well. And I don't know quite how to do that with seed and weed fabric because those are really tiny holes. All right, let's get into this and then we'll walk through what I'm planting while we hopefully speed through this because it's wet again and I have clay soil. Yay for clay. Okay. So we are planting American Legion poppies. And this says recommended 4 to 6 weeks before your average last frost date. That's now. Or as soon as soil can be worked or fall for bloom the following spring. So I will actually order more of these and then plant them in the fall. These are an annual, so they would have to be planted every year. I am probably not going to have enough seeds to do this entire thing. And it is not recommended to start these indoors, which is why I'm doing them directly in the garden. Probably have to take gloves off for this. What I did with my drill and auger is I just loosened up the soil. I know there's a big thing for no-dig gardens, but again, I am in southern Indiana and it's primarily clay. I am still getting to the point where I don't have to dig in the soil. So every year as I plant things, the soil gets better and better and better. So right now it's wet, super wet, and clay. So we're doing what we got to do to get the seeds in the ground. But if you don't have to dig, then you're fabulous. If you have to dig, I would suggest getting a small auger for your drill. It saves your back, it saves time, and you don't have to lug around. Oh, there's a lot of seeds in here. You don't have to lug around a tiller. It's really hard to get our tiller all the way from the garage to back here. So these are very tiny seeds. Whew. They're very tiny. So we're going to sprinkle them around in no particular form or fashion. And then we will lightly cover them. And then tomorrow when we come out and do the peas, we're going to try not to crush them. And yes, I'm doing basically the entire packet. So since light aids germination, we don't want to put much soil on these. I am just going to cover them up enough so that our strong, harsh winds do not blow them away. And they can be wetted by the soil itself. I did bring back the hose, but this soil is so wet, I don't want to drown them. All right, see, I'm just flattening out the soil and filling in any holes. I am not pressing super hard. I'm going to rip out whatever this wheat is. And then our peas are actually going to go along that back fence row so that they can trellis up the fence. That's at least the plan. That is a hollyhock that came back from last year. Back over on the other side, I believe those are black parrot tulips. I believe somebody has taken my marker. All right. So we're going to do the peas in the back. It's going to be the same for over there. There are other flowers going in here. And I will figure out what those are. I have to go look at my plan. I'm super excited about the hollyhocks. This is their second year. So maybe we'll get flowers this year. Maybe. All right, let's go do the other side. Okay, so last year I hit a wall and just was not able to get absolutely everything cleaned up. So I'm pulling out the old tomato cages, pulling up some of the dead stuff just growing around everywhere, getting in our way, so that I can come in with my drill and my auger and start breaking up all of that soil. Back along the back is where I plan on planting the peas. Everywhere else, I'm just tossing down some poppy seeds and praying that they grow, like the majority of us do most of the time. I almost forgot about our jade green beans, which are going right here. For these, it is recommended to sow outside. Why do I have these to start now? I'm not supposed to start these yet. Why did I have them written down to start? Okay, well, at least we got the soil tills. So there's that. What I can do, however, since I did till this, and I'm using till very lightly here because I used my auger, is I can go ahead and cover it with weed fabric and call it good. But that means that we're not planting the other side because it's 1 to 2 weeks after your average last frost date because I have way too many things going on and I should not have jumped the gun. Jumping the gun on a lot this year. I think I'm just crazy excited to get out in the garden and get things done that I should not be doing. But we don't want to kill our seed. So I'm going to go put these back in the bag. And we will start on the carrots, which are probably going to be a huge pain in the butt. Right here is where we are going to be planting the green beans. And I did decide to put down weed fabric, so I'm just getting the ground underneath ready for the green beans. All right, what I've decided to do is go ahead and put weed fabric over right here where I know the green beans are going to go. That way, since I already have it dug up and pretty much weeded, I'm not going to have to do it again. And I have no perennials right here yet, so bonus. It's very random in the garden right now because it's primarily getting yourself as set up for success as you possibly can. And I know the weed fabric is very sporadic, but at least it will help for some of the things in the garden, which means I will not have to weed near as much, which makes me happy because I would prefer to spend my time harvesting and looking at the pretty things than weeding it. And I think that's the majority of people. That we want to grow things, we want to live off the food we grow, but who has time to weed every single day? It's just a lot of work just for it to come back. So we're going to make life a little bit simpler, at least in some areas. And I have like all types of different weed fabric. So by the end of the season, I'll know which one I like best and which one to actually invest my money in. I am liking this one so far, except that the wind caught it and blew some into the pond, which was not exactly what was meant to happen. So the black plastic type seems to be sturdier when it comes to wind, but this is lighter and it cuts easier and it's not black, which I'm worried about the black because that could possibly get my plants way too hot. And for things like peas and beans, you don't want everything getting super duper hot because that's when they bolt, that's when they die, especially herbs. So for things like herbs and stuff, I would prefer this fabric to the really dark fabric. All right, I have changed up my plan. We're going to do these 2 beds in carrots. That one may not do well, but this is going to be much lighter, fluffier soil. So I'm going to get it evened out because last year I just dumped it and let the spiders do their thing. So we're just going to shove it around and pray no spiders come after me because we don't get along. Well, they like me. We don't like being near each other, but we understand each other. So back here we're doing carrots, and that needs a very light, fluffy soil, which this is pretty much the only bed that has light, fluffy soil. This is what I got to work with for carrots. I have yet to successfully grow a carrot. Last year, it looked like a male appendage on the one successful carrot I had. So we are trying again. But I am thinking that I may just get raised beds for root crops. Just because our soil is so hard that root crops are just really hard to grow unless it's a radish, which just, I don't know, can grow freaking anywhere. And this guy makes me think that I should be planting my onion seeds in the fall. Because look at those bad boys. So I should be doing what I do with the garlic and planting in the fall. So that's what we're going to do this coming year. I'm going to make my little rows. I mean, this one bed should hold a lot of freaking carrots. And I'm growing primarily short carrots because I think I may have better success because of my soil. And we'll see if I succeed with those first. Oof. Okay. We're going to go with Shinkarota carrots from Botanical Interests and Little Finger carrots from Baker Creek. And then we're not going to do the Belgium 2 because those are much longer carrots and I don't think it's going to work in this soil. Those are the Little Fingers. I did not need 2 packets. I may try some of these in pots. Because I do want more of the short, fat ones. That was that row and that row. They're over. Okay. Oh, these are way bigger seeds. That'll be helpful. These may be the future. Because we can see what we're doing. And in the garden, you want to rotate what you're planting. So back here, we have the garlic up and going. That should be ready by the time like the peppers need to go in. And it's going to loosen up that soil for me. So root crops are going down differently every year so that every year more soil gets loosened up. This soil is nice because this is what I had in the GreenStalks last year that did not work out because I don't think it was meant for potted plants. So I dumped them all back here as not to waste it. Put in some amendments, blood meal, worm castings, things like that to give it a little bit more of an oomph. And hopefully it will do well back here. So as I try different dirt in my GreenStalks, if it doesn't work, I'm just going to dump it in the garden. Then amend it to work with the garden and the seeds. And hopefully that is a tad cheaper way to get this to be better soil. Our carrots are in, and we're about to get a crap ton of rain. And with everything already being wet, I don't think I should actually water it. But now what else can we do while we wait for the husband to get back to help with the really heavy stuff that I need help with? This is the next day, and I've come back out to plant the peas. And I know it's in speed through, but the wind was going absolutely berserker that day. And when we jump to the next clip, I forgot that I even put peas on the other side of the garden. So it's really awesome to realize that I planted peas in multiple areas that I did not know existed, which is great to know. Thank you all for joining me. And if you like these types of videos where it's a little chaotic, but all garden
please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe share with your friends and family who like chaotic garden videos as well. Thank you again, and I hope you have a blessed and magical week, y'all. Bye.